So, good morning. In our last class, we were discussing about the uh, creation of servlets. So, we discussed how to create a normal servlet. So, we shall discuss the HTTP servlets today. So, HTTP servlets uh, can be created with the use of java x.servlet.http package. So this particular package contains interfaces and classes that are used by the servlet developers. So its functionality is a bit similar to the other category of servlets. So the core interfaces provided in this package include the HTTP servlet request. So this enables the servlet to read the data from the HTTP request. So this is similar to servlet request, but it is tuned to HTTP protocol. So another one is HTTP servlet response. So this particular interface has all the methods to write the data into the HTTP response. So which will be sent to the client. HTTP session. So this allows the session data to be read and written. So session means the duration. So here, whenever we log in into a website, our session will start. So that session will be maintained on each page of a website. So once the login is successful, we will have access to all the pages in that particular website. So on each page, we will not log in. So our session will start from a login and it will remain valid till the timeout period or till we log out. So that particular information is maintained in a session. So again, when a login is successful, the sessions are maintained based on our browser fingerprints. So each browser will have its own unique identity that will be sent to the server. So what does the server do is the server will bind our login to this particular browser so that on that particular browser, once we log in, we will have access to all the pages. Now, from the same system, if you change the browser and directly go to the particular website, it will again redirect you to login because your session, no session is active in the second browser. So these sessions are browser specific. So this session is maintained by the server itself. So all servers will provide the facility of sessions. So sessions contains the user information and the browser information, and they will remain valid unless until we log out, or they can have a inbuilt timer. So once we log in, the timer will start. After certain minutes, so automatically we will be forced to log out, or it will automatically log out. So another interface is the HTTP session binding listener. So this session binding listener, so it informs the object that it is bound to a session or unbound from a session. So the various classes in HTTP package include cookie. Cookie is a class that allows the state information to be stored in the client machine. So cookies are stored in our browsers. So you might have observed nowadays, whenever you visit any page, so first thing that asks is to store the cookie. That particular website's cookie information will be stored. So you will get the option to either agree or disagree. So when we agree, what they do is they will store some of the information in our browser. So that if a information is stored in a browser of a client machine, then it is a cookie. If the information is stored on a server, it is part of session. Then another class, that is the HTTP servlet class. So HTTP servlet class is a base class for HTTP servlets, and we have to implement and extend from this HTTP servlet class. So it provides all the methods to handle the HTTP request and response. So HTTP session events. So session events is another class. So that will encapsulate the session changed events. Then HTTP session binding event. So this class indicates that when a listener is bound or unbound from a session value or a session attribute. So these are all part of managing sessions. So HTTP servlet response interface, so that enables the servlet to formulate a HTTP response to a client. So there are several constants are also associated with them. So for example, SC_OK indicates that HTTP request has succeeded. So SC not found, which means the requested resource is not available. So few methods of HTTP servlet requests are mentioned over here. So it is java.language.string. So it returns a string get context path. So this particular method will return the portion of the request URI that indicates the context of the request. Then cookies. So a cookie array will be returned by the get cookies method. So again, cookie is a client side information. So these cookies are stored in name and value pairs. So for each cookie, there will be a name and a value. So simple cookies would be when you log in. So your department and value can be a cookie, and your username and USN can be another cookie. So likewise, each cookie will have a name and an associated value. So all the cookies stored in that particular client machine can be read using the get cookies function. So similarly, so we can extract the method from a request object. So we can extract whether it is a get method or post or put method. So that can be retrieved here. So session information can be extracted using get session. So this returns the current session associated with the request. So if session is not available, and then a new session will be created. And in that session object, we can set the time of expiry, all those things. So even in the cookies, along with name and value, expiration date, domain, and path information can also be stored. Some of the methods that are present in the response, HTTP servlet response class are. So again, response means it is sent from the server to the client. So this particular information is sent to client for taking the actions. So one such is add cookie. So if a server wants to store some information on the client, so it will use add cookie. So add cookie method will take a cookie as a parameter, and cookie is a class, so it is an object. So that cookie object contains name, value. We can optionally add the expiration date along with the domain and path information. So that is for creating a cookie on a client machine. Then send error. So this is used to send the error messages. Send an error response to the client using a specified status value. Then We can also send the status value along with the message. So if there are server found that there is some error, then it can send the error message and the value associated with that particular message. So get status. So this sets the status code for this particular response. So a few constants include sc_ok, and you might have seen the 404 error on the web page. So when the resource is not available. So these are all the codes that are used by the servlets. So sc_ok is one status code. So that is sent when the request is success. And if the requested resources is not found, then the 404 status code is sent along with for this constant, that is sc_not found. So likewise, we can define our own codes also. So some of the methods that are present in the HTTP session interface are creation time, when the session is created. So in web development, the default date or the starting date will be 1st January 1970. So all the dates will be calculated from this particular date. So if we don't specify the creation time, then default will be January 1, 1970. Then get ID. So this returns a string containing a unique identifier assigned to the particular session. So get last accessed time. So this returns the last accessed time the client sent a request associated with the particular session. So again, all the information that the client is dealing with the server can be stored. So several APIs are provided to extract those details. So when was the last time the client accessed and how long the session is active for that particular client. So all those information, the IP address of the client machine, the browser, version of the browser. So all those things can be accessed at the server side. So these are the basic interfaces, methods, and classes in the HTTP servlets. So now let us look at the cookie class. Okay, so cookie class encapsulates a cookie. So a cookie is stored on a client machine, and usually it contains the state information. So any application it wants to store some information on the client for the purpose. So then this cookie is made use of. So again, they are valuable for tracking the user activities. So remember, cookies are nowadays used to track everything on a web browser. So it is based on these cookie values, the websites will inject the advertisements. So you might have seen that on one website when you are browsing, you will see a product somewhere, maybe in Flipkart or Amazon or any other online shopping websites. So you just you will or Myntra. So you will check some products. So later what you will do is you will just close the browser and some other time you will open and you will go to some other websites. So but still the product you watch it on Flipkart or Amazon, its advertisements will be injected in those websites. So you might have observed this scenario, right? So how will those new websites came to know about the products you watched on those shopping websites? So it is all through the cookies. So when you watch a product on Flipkart or Amazon, what they do is they will create a cookie of that product and they will leave it on your browser. So the new website, what it does, it will go and read the cookies. So they will have an understanding because everything is an advertisement, a huge revenue in advertising. So the formats and all, they will be knowing each other. So what they do is they read the cookies. So they will get to know which product you have seen or you are observing. The same product advertisements will be launched in the third party website also. So that when you click on those advertisements, that will take you to Flipkart or Amazon websites. If you buy the product, they will get the commission. So that is how advertising industries work. So for all of them, use these cookies because it is an easy way to track the user. So the data for the cookie, that cookie is included in the header of the HTTP response that is sent to the browser. So HTTP response can also write to the cookies, and request can also read from the cookies. So servlet will have an ability to read the cookies and write the cookies. So if the facility of this cookie is available in all the languages. So not just in Java, in PHP, Perl, .NET, any web language, anything that is done using a browser, any language provides this facility of cookies and sessions. So again, once it is stored in a browser, language also doesn't matter. From any programming language, we can read the value of cookies. Even you can open your browser and go and check the various cookies that are stored by which website the cookie is stored, what is the name of the cookie, value of the cookie, all those things you can observe. So the fields that are present in the cookie include name of the cookie, value, expiration time. So this expiration time determines when the cookie will be removed from the browser machine. Okay, so that expiration time we can specify. If we don't specify, by default it will stay forever unless and until we clear them. So the domain and path of the cookie. So domain and path means which website has created that particular cookie. So that will be observed in the domain and path. So if a user enters a URL from whose domain and path matches with the domain and the path that is stored, then the cookie is supplied to the web server. So again, so if Flipkart has stored the cookies, then when you open the Flipkart website, then that website will have access to these cookies also. So means the URL and domain of the website that has created the cookie will be stored. So some of the methods that are present in the cookie class include it's a constructor, that is string name and value. Then get comment returns the comment describing the purpose of this cookie if it is written. Int get max age, so this will return the maximum age of the cookie that is specified. Okay, by default it is -1, so indicating that the cookie will remain in the browser until the browser shutdowns. Okay, so nowadays even if the browser is closed, you shut down the system, the cookie will remain. So unless and until we use the history to clear the cookies. Then get name returns the name of the cookie. Get value returns the value of the cookie. Set max age int expiry. So using this API, we can set the age of the cookie in seconds. Then set comment. So this can be used to set the comments that indicates the purpose of the particular cookie. Then we have a clone also. So for cloning the cookie. So version, get domain. So many other methods are there in this particular cookie class. So then we have servlet class. So HTTP servlet class extends the generic servlet. So which means all the methods that are present in the generic servlets are present in the HTTP servlet. So it is commonly used when developing the servlets that receives and processes the HTTP request and response. So again, this has certain methods, that is do delete. So this handles the delete request. Then HTTP get request can be handled with do get, do post, do put. So do trace, then do options. So various kinds of requests can be handled separately. So do delete. So this is called by the server no, to allow the servlet to handle a delete request. So the delete operation allows a client to remove a document or a web page from the server. Then do get. So this do get method is called by the server that allows the servlet to handle the get request. So similarly, post request, put request, then do service. So service method is called by the server when HTTP request arrives for this servlet, and the arguments provide access to HTTP request and response object. So here, if you observe, we are just simply listing the methods, classes, and interface provided by the packages. So, in the test and exams also, they will give the class name or interface name. We have to list the, if it is a interface or class, we have to list what are the methods that are present in that interface or class. So if it is a package, then we have to list the interfaces and classes present in that particular package. That's it. So HTTP session event class. So HTTP session event class, again, it encapsulates session events. So there is a class called as event object. So that acts as a base class for this one. So it is generated when a change occurs in a session. It defines a constructor, that is the HTTP sessions event. So HTTP session is passed. So it has only one method, that is get session. So HTTP get session. It returns the session in which a particular event has occurred. Then HTTP session binding event. So this particular class extends the HTTP session event. So it is generated when a listener is attached to a session object. So which means the listener will have access to that particular session object. So HTTP session binding event. So that is a constructor. So it has get name and get value. Get session methods can be used. So yeah, reading all these, seems boring unless and until we, build an application using these methods. So we'll not be in a position to identify the real needs of these methods. Okay. So these are useful when we are building a web application in Java. So handling HTTP request and response, it is done by HTTP servlet class. So the various methods is do delete, do get, do head, do options, do post, do put, and do trace. So based on the HTTP request type, the particular method will be called. Now, handling a HTTP get request. So let us consider an example where we try to handle a HTTP get request. Okay, so let us say this is a color.html web page. So in this web page, we have a web form. Name of the form is form1, and the action is the localhost get color servlet. So color get servlet is the name of the servlet where the action will be forwarded. So bold tag color, select tag is utilized over here. So name of that select tag is color. So it will have an option. So it is just a drop down. So or what we can say as a combo box. So when we click on this, the options will be displayed. So the option is red, its value is red, then green and blue. So three options are available in this particular color select input. So then break tags submit. So only color we can select in the drop down and we can click on the submit button. So that is available in the web page. So on the server side, what we can do is, so whether this is a get request, how to identify. So here we should have written method. So if nothing is written, then it is a get request. So here in the form tag, we can add method is equal to get. Here on the servlet side, so this is the color get servlet.java. So we'll first import the packages, then we will extend the HTTP servlet. So color get servlet extends HTTP servlet. So it is a get method. So we will be writing a do get. So do get has request and response parameters, and it is capable of throwing servlet exception and IO exception. So in order to extract the value that is present in the request, so that is the get parameter color. So why we have specified color? Because it is the name of the select tag, right? So that we have to specify here. And get parameter color will extract the value of the color that we have selected in the drop down. So that will be present in the string. So again, this we can be sent back as a response. That's it. The selected color is so print color. So that will be printed in the response. So here what we are doing in the web page is we are creating a drop down with 3 colors. We'll select the color and click on the submit button. The request will come to server. In the server, we will check which color has been clicked, and then we'll just display that particular color. So again, that will be sent back from server to client. So this is an example to how from a servlet we can read the parameters and send some data to the client back. So in order to perform this particular task, so what we have to do is, so we have to start the Tomcat. If it is already running, no need. Then we'll open the browser, select a color, submit the web page. Now the browser will display the response that is dynamically generated by the servlet. So handling HTTP GET request. Okay, so the parameters for a HTTP GET request are included as part of the URL that is sent to the web browser. So yesterday I told you there is a two methods, that is GET and POST. So if we are using GET, then all our requests will not be encrypted. So the GET method, it will be part of the URL color is equal to red that will be sent to the server. So you can observe it in the URL itself. If it is a GET, if it is a POST, then it will not be present in the URL. So this question mark symbol, whatever is present after the question mark symbol, so that is called as a query string. So this query string will have a format that is color is equal to red. If we have one more, then ampersand will come here. Again, name and value pair will occur. So we need two files to be created. One is the HTML, another one is a .java file. So in the previous example, so if you want a post method, then we have to include method is equal to post in the form tag. So if we specify post method in the form tag, then in the servlet side, we have to replace the method do get with do post. That's it. So the parameter name and value of a post method are sent in the body of the HTTP request, and it will be encrypted. So there is a few differences between the do get or do post, or just the get method and the post method. So the differences are, so in the get method, the parameters are added in the URL itself, and it is sent in the header part. Whereas in the post, the parameters are sent in the separate line, and they will appear in the body of the request. So the maximum size of the data that can be sent in using the post method is 240 bytes. Whereas in post method, so there is no limit on the data size. Why it is 240 bytes? Because the data is added as a part of the URL itself. So when it is part of the URL, there is a limitation for the size of the URL, right? Then here the parameters are not encrypted. In do post, the parameters are encrypted. So in get method, generally it is used to query purpose. So or to get some information from the server. Whereas this post method is to update an information or post some information onto the server. So do get are faster because no encryption is done, but post is a bit slower compared to do get. But nowadays with high computing facilities, so we will not be able to distinguish the performance overhead of using a post method. So these are the differences of using the get method and the post method. So using cookies. So when to use a cookie and how to use it. So the servlet is invoked when a form on a web page is submitted. So in this particular example, let us consider we have 3 files to demonstrate the cookie creation and display the contents of the cookie. So add cookie.htm. So this allows a user to specify a value for a cookie. Then one servlet will be, we will add, that is add cookie servlet and get cookie servlet. So here what we are doing is we are adding a cookie, then from a user side, we are adding a cookie in the servlet side, and we are extracting and displaying the cookie. So 3 files we are writing. So in the HTML part, so this is the add cookie.htm or HTML. So what we are doing is form 1, we are, see, from the server in the client side, we are not adding the cookie. We are sending the name and value pair to the server, and the server will create a cookie. Here server means nothing but a servlet. So form 1, we are using the post method, that is method is equal to post. Action is the path to the servlet, and the name of the servlet is add cookie servlet. In the form, what we have, enter the value of a cookie. We are taking the text box, that is the name of the cookie we will take. So the name of the text box is data. Okay, and type is equal to submit button. So we are just having one text box and a submit button. So what is the name of the cookie? That we will see what name is being used in the servlet side. Here we are only having the text box to get the value of the cookie, and the name of the text box is data. So why this is required? So this name is required because on the servlet side, based on this name only, we can extract the parameter value. Now on the add cookie side, so add cookie servlet extends HTTP servlet. So it is a, if you observe, it is a do post method. Why it is do post? Because the method that we specified over here is post. So do post request response. Here what we'll do, we'll extract the parameter data, request dot get parameter data. Now whatever value is typed in the text box is extracted over here. So next what we'll do, we'll create a cookie. So how to create a cookie? Cookie is a class, name of the variable name is cookie. So cookie is equal to new cookie. So this cookie takes 2 parameters. One is the name, another one is the value. So in place of name, we are giving my cookie. So my cookie will be the name of the cookie. And here is a variable that is data. So data is the one that we have extracted in the using the get parameter method over here. So that data is present over here. So now what happens when we send the response? So a cookie object is created. Now this cookie is added to response. So how to add a cookie to a response? So response dot add cookie that is passed over here. So now this cookie is added in the response. So this response is now forwarded to the browser. So we'll set the content type, get a print writer, then just print that my cookie has been sent. So once the response is received on the client machine, a cookie will be created with the name my cookie and the data that we have typed in the text box. Now, this is for creating a cookie. So similarly, we can get a cookie or read a cookies. So for that, what we can do is, so in the do get method, so what we are doing is we are extracting all the cookies that are present in the request object. So cookie array cookies request dot get cookies. So the request dot get cookies will extract all the cookies that are present in the request object. So remember, when a request object is sent, all the cookies that are stored in our browser will be sent. By default, that will be sent. So the server will always have access to our cookies in the browser. So request get cookies. So once we get a cookie array, so we can just iterate over it and get its name and value. So how to get it? So we'll set the response content type. So we'll get the writer. So we'll use a for loop. For I is equal to 0, I less than cookie dot length. So we'll iterate over all the cookie array. So cookie of I dot get name. So name will be extracted. Cookie of I dot get value. Value will be extracted. Just concat and print it. So all the cookies that are present will be written on the screen of a browser, and that will be sent to the client machine. So this is how cookies are created, or its value is read in the servlet. So next we have session tracking. So session tracking is a information that is stored on the server side. So if a information now in our previous example we stored just a name value pair, that is my cookie and the value that is there on the client machine. So similarly, name value pair, we can store it on the server itself. So if we store on the server, then they will be part of sessions. If we store in the client machine, that will be called as cookie. So cookies and sessions are same, but the location where they are stored, their formatting, the additional values, what is specified along with them will be different. So the session tracking, why session tracking is required? So HTTP is a stateless protocol. So stateless protocol means it doesn't have a memory. Each request will be a independent of all the previous requests, and it doesn't store anything. So in the previous request, what we requested the server, that is not stored anywhere. So the protocol for that particular HTTP protocol, so everything is a new request. So that's why it is called as a stateless protocol. But using the sessions, we can provide a mechanism for remembering the state. So explicitly we have to store this particular information in the server. So in order to store the information on the server, we will use the mechanism of sessions. And since we are tracking the requests and the actions, so it is called a session tracking. So in order to track a user, So what we can do is we have to track it. So once the user first connects with a server, we have to create a session. So a session can be created using the method get session. So this get session method can be called on HTTP request object. So on a request object, we will call get session. So then a session object will be returned and by creating it. So once a session object is there, so then we can add all the information that is required to be stored on a server side. So session state is shared among all the servlets that are associated with a particular client. So that's what I told. The whatever the session is created, that is shared among all the servlet of that particular client. So here client means browser. So irrespective of which page you go, that session information can be shared with it. So they can read the session information. So that's why in many applications, so where you have seen where a lot of navigation is there from one page to another page. So even if we take the examples of the e-commerce websites, so you will visit n number of products. So on each page, you will not log in again and again to watch that particular page. So how the particular page will come to know that it is you who have logged in? So that is based on the session information. So once you log in for the first time, your session has been created with that particular browser. So using that browser, irrespective of which page you go, the server will identify you. So that is the need of sessions. So here is a example to create a session. So you can see. So IO package you have to take, utility package, then servlet, HTTP servlet. So this is the date servlet. So extends HTTP servlet. So do get method. So inside that do get method, so we can create a session, that is HTTP session HS request dot get session of true. So this get session of true means it indicates that if no session is there, it will create a session. So if sessions are not available. Then we can use the session HS is there. We can get the writer. So you can just print. So get attribute. So get attribute means similar to get parameter in the cookies. We have get attribute over there. So attribute name is date. So if that particular attribute is there, then it will return the value. If it is not there, it will return null. So date, so you can print the last access date is this. So display current date and time. So what we can do is we can create a new date and set the attribute. So using this set attribute. Now for this session, if you call the get attribute again, this date will be printed. So again, this is again name value pairs. So get attribute, set attribute. So on which object we are calling? HTTP session object. So when we first send a request to this servlet, the browser will display the current date and time information. Okay. So there will be two invocations. So then two lines will be displayed. So this is a simple example for the session tracking. So for the first time, if you are opening from the browser, so here this will be null. So it will display only the current date. The second time when you reload it, so the last access it will show and the current date also it will show. So that's why there will be two lines in the output when we request it for the second time. Okay, so this is about the servlets. So in servlets, We studied the background, its life cycle, how it is different from CGI technology, Tomcat server, and various interfaces, methods, uh, attributes of the both HTTP servlets as well as the generic servlets. And we saw cookies. So cookie, how to create a cookie and how to read the values of the cookies. And then finally session tracking. So this is just a basic concept of servlets. So in our next class, so we shall study the Java server pages, that is JSP. Okay, so you can enter your attendance in the chat window and exit.